Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back to Avorion with LD7, and I just wanted to show off kind of what the claimable asteroids look like. There's typically about 12 of them per faction that you find, so you want to go and claim all of them for two reasons. One, you can sell them and gain reputation with the factions, and two, you can sell them and gain money in the early game. So that's a big help. I mean, 50,000 credits at this point is huge for us. In addition, typically you find them in these mining sectors, which will have a higher density of materials to be mined. So at this point, we've got a little bit of credits, like I think maybe 100, 150,000, somewhere in there. So kind of at this point, we've got our ship built to titanium. So we've got a few options. We can kind of stay back here, explore a little bit, see if we can find some turrets and things like that, take on some pirates, what have you. That'd be option one. Option two would be we can kind of keep going and pushing towards the center, try to get to Neonite so we can upgrade our ship with shields and warp core and stuff like that, and keep going, you know, in the progressing towards the center of the galaxy. That would be option two. And then option three would be we can kind of gather a few more resources around here and set up maybe one or two auto miners and then start pushing forward. And I think that's what I'm going to go for. And the reason being, right, I'm still on full collision damage because it hasn't gotten to be an issue for me at this point. Granted, our ships are still pretty small, so yeah, collision damage becomes a little bit more pronounced when you're flying a massive ship around, just because it's harder not to run into things, I guess. So with that in mind, I'm just leaving full collision damage on right now, because it does, I mean, it still damages blocks. Like if I crash into something, it'll lower my full health points or whatever, but it's not a big deal. The mechanics I have on board will repair that damage over time, assuming the block doesn't break off. And you can actually repair your ship anywhere by going into the build menu. You just hit the B key and click this little repair button, hit repair, and it'll fix all the blocks on it and restore it to its most recent design. So those are some helpful tips if you want to play on collision damage and you're struggling keeping your ship intact. That's kind of how you deal with it. Like I said in the first episode, I think, if collision damage becomes a big pain in the ass, we'll just turn it off so we can focus on the content. But I did want to show you kind of what collision damage looks like, so let's see, we're going pretty fast. We're going to try to crash into this one. Nope, not quite. Okay, we missed it. I don't want to hit it head on just because if you're going fast enough and collide with something head on, it will like destroy your ship. And I don't want to waste our reconstruction token to repair this piece of garbage. So I was trying to like clip a wing or something. Let's see, maybe we can do it with this one. That'll work. So as you can see, we crashed into it and a bunch of explosions happened. So we lost a thruster at least, and probably some other stuff. But the main thing is, as you can see, that green bar we had is now orange. So we are down to 20% hull. And it looks like we probably took out our generator or something. I don't know. So if we go into B and hit repair, we can go repair and it'll replace all the blocks. It does cost the resources. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Oh, it looks like it didn't put back these whole pieces that I had. Weird. Because I did have these out a little bit farther, so it's kind of flush or whatever. I don't know. The back end looks kind of shit, but that's fine. Anyway, so that's kind of how collision damage works. You know, the faster you're going and the bigger the object you hit, the more damage it's going to do to you. But yeah, you can avoid most things, especially while your ships are small like this. It's pretty easy to just, you know, steer around the asteroids. They're not that close together most of the time. But yeah, just wanted to kind of discuss that a little bit because we haven't thus far. And then, yeah, I mean, outside of that, I basically am going to focus on mining titanium. And for the auto mining ships that we're going to employ, I'm just going to use the exact same design that I've got currently. I've got 2 double iron mining lasers, so kind of my thoughts are I'm going to build 2 auto mining ships, put a laser on each, and I'll put one in this asteroid field probably, just because there's, you know, iron titanium here. And then I'm going to see if I can find another asteroid field to put the other auto miner. That way we've got at least a little bit of a source for titanium and iron generating passively while we're flying around and, you know, gathering and progressing and everything else. So with that being said, I mean, there's not a lot to setting up an auto mining. Well, there is a little bit of to setting up an auto mining ship. I mean, the basics are, you know, get a ship design template that's going to be capable of doing what you want. So we're just looking for something that can fly around, harvest from asteroids, and that's about it. So the ship we're flying right now is actually a great template for it. It's relatively cheap resource-wise, and yeah, so this is probably the one we're going to use. Once you build the ship and have the crew put out that you need just to run it, so what I'm talking about are the mechanics and engineers and miners for a mining ship, maybe a sergeant if it's required. So you get all those guys, right? And then the last piece is you have to get a captain. Now, finding a captain is not always the easiest thing. They're only sold at specific stations. We lucked out, this mine just happens to have one. And what you do is you fly over to one of these docks, and if you get close enough, you'll get the option for tractor beam, and it has to say docked here, otherwise you can't trade. Hit hire crew, go down to the captain, and we just want one. It's going to cost us 22,000 basically credits to buy this, to make one auto ship. So we'll have to buy 2, one for each ship. So, I mean, that's maybe 50k. We've got enough credits right now to be able to do that. We can't hire it here because we're not a good enough standing with this faction. So purple means that we're neutral. What we're looking for is a faction like this one that's blue, and that means we have excellent reputation. So we should be able to trade everything that that faction has to offer. So once I build the ships, I'll warp back over to the home sector where we started and get a couple captains and fly them out. And once you put a captain on the ship, if you transfer ships, so if you leave that ship, it will operate automatically, or it can operate automatically, assuming you give it instructions. So the way you would instruct it, once we build it, I'll go into more detail. That'll probably be next time. You see this little icon here. If you click it, you can actually instruct the ship from this level as well. You can patrol, attack, escort, mine, salvage, whatever you want to do. There's an option down here pretty much. So to automate it, the mining ships anyway, what you do is you move it to the sector you want to mine, you hit mine. Then you want to warp between like 2 or 3 different sectors. Kind of what I do is try to go back to a resource depot, and then, you know, return. And the reason why you do that is it will respawn the asteroids in this sector, so when it returns there will actually be something there to mine. If you just leave it in the one sector mining, it'll mine all the asteroids until there aren't any left. And then basically you have to go back through and reset that up. But by hitting mine, warp, 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 and then warp back and mine again, you can loop the commands. It'll give you an option once you have a couple, and that will automate the ship fully. So once you set it up and you get that loop created, basically you don't have to worry about the ship anymore unless it gets attacked by pirates or you want to upgrade it or something like that. So basically at that point you're automatically gathering iron and titanium or whatever resource you happen to station it by automatically while you do whatever else you want to do in the game. So that's kind of the plan. When we come back next time, I'll kind of walk you guys through how to set up an auto mining ship. That way you can kind of see the process step by step. I need to mine some more titanium and iron so I can actually build the ships. So I'm going to do that between episodes so you don't have to watch me mining asteroids. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed the content and liked the series thus far, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always, and until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7, and we will see ya.